I want to tell you something that genuinely changed how I experience game night, and I think once you hear it, you're not going to be able to unhear it. Classic board games, the ones you grew up with, the ones you've played 100 times, the ones you think you completely understand, are secretly some of the funniest, most cleverly subversive pieces of design ever created. Not accidentally funny, intentionally, brilliantly, sometimes darkly funny. And almost nobody talks about this. I'm Megu, and today we're going deep. Rule books out, game boards examined, character cards scrutinized. We're finding the hidden comedy that's been sitting right there on your shelf this whole time. Let's start with Monopoly, because Monopoly is not a game about real estate. Monopoly is a brutally accurate satire of capitalism, so on the nose that it's almost uncomfortable once you see it clearly. The game was actually invented in the early 1900s by a woman named Elizabeth Magie, who designed it explicitly to demonstrate the predatory nature of land monopolization. She called it the landlord's game, and the whole point was to show how one person accumulating all the property made everyone else's life miserable. The comedy is that this message was completely absorbed into mainstream family entertainment and then played enthusiastically by millions of families who didn't notice they were enacting a critique of economic inequality every game night. Look at the mechanics through this lens, and everything gets funnier. The banker is just a regular player with access to unlimited money and zero accountability. Landing in jail is genuinely not the worst outcome. Sometimes staying in jail while everyone else pays rent on Boardwalk is the strategically correct move, which says something bleak and hilarious about how the game models reality. And the moment when one player has hotels on the dark purple properties and is technically out of the game financially but just hasn't accepted it yet. Everyone knows that person. Everyone has been that person. That's not just a game event. That's a whole character arc about denial in the face of economic collapse. Monopoly has been making us act out this exact drama for over a century, and we thought we were just playing a board game. Now let's talk about Clue, which is officially a murder mystery game and unofficially a masterclass in how unreliable human reasoning actually is. The character archetypes alone are comedy gold once you examine them. Colonel Mustard exists as a type, pompous, vaguely military, suspicious for reasons that are never quite specified. Mrs. Peacock is flustered and overdressed for the occasion of solving a murder. Professor Plum is the academic who is somehow always present at a homicide. None of these people have any business being in a mansion together, and yet here we all are, accusing each other with complete confidence using the flimsiest possible evidence. The weapons are where Clue really reveals its comedic genius. The candlestick, the lead pipe, the rope. The game is telling you that whoever committed this murder did so with an object that belongs in a different century, in a room that sounds more like a Victorian stage set than an actual house. There is a conservatory. There is a billiard room. The murder happened here, with this, by this improbably named person, and you are going to reconstruct the truth through a series of increasingly confident accusations based on which cards you don't have. The game is literally a comedy about how terrible people are at deduction. It dressed itself up as a thriller and nobody noticed. And then there is Operation. Operation is the most honest game ever designed because it tells you exactly what it is right up front. You are an unqualified person attempting surgery with tweezers, the patient is visibly distressed, and failure is announced by a loud buzzer and a flashing light. The ailments are the part that rewards close reading. Butterflies in stomach, funny bone, writer's cramp, Adam's apple. The game named a body part after a biblical origin story and gave it a medical context. Spare ribs is in there. Water on the knee. These are not just silly names. They are a complete system of visual puns operating simultaneously. And the genius is that children play this game for years without ever stopping to appreciate that the entire patient is a sustained joke. The buzzing when you fail is the perfect punctuation. You tried, you missed. The patient judged you. The slapstick is built directly into the mechanics. Failure isn't just possible in Operation, it's expected, it's frequent, and it's always funny. That's not an accident, that's design philosophy. Here's what I'm left with after all of this. These games have layers that most of us never got to because we were too busy playing them to actually look at them. The people who designed them were funnier and more subversive than we gave them credit for, and there's something genuinely wonderful about discovering decades into your relationship with something that it was always smarter than you thought. Which game do you think is hiding the best joke? Tell me in the comments. I have a list of candidates for the next deep dive, and I want to know what you're seeing.